That battle mat I made was really cool. The only problem, yeah, that's the problem. Hello everyone, I'm Father Aaron. Welcome to
The Dungeon Minister!
So, I made a really cool battle mat. You can see that video. I'll link it down there. Really cool. It looked great. I used Black Magic Crafts technique, and generally speaking, if you follow Jeremy's example, you're going to get something pretty cool. It turned out well. I haven't had a chance to use it because my party have all gone north. They've gone way north now, and they're heading up to fight Morag, the White Dragon. Well, around a white dragon, you're going to find snow and ice, right? That's where they want to live. And in my world, they create the weather itself, right? When they move in, it changes the weather. So they're not getting any, grass and mud and that kind of stuff. They're just getting snow and ice. So I wanted to make a snow and ice battle mat. Well, shouldn't be that hard, should it? So, for this particular one, I'm going to be doing a snow and ice sort of terrain because my characters are heading north, and frankly, I'm going to need snow and ice more than I'm going to need jungle and stuff for now. So what am I doing? Well, I'm trying to use up the last of this light blue paint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put underneath, in as much of it as I can, just a layer of light blue so that I can do a slightly thinner coat of the Dynaflex stuff, and I've gotten some of this in white. And the idea is, if I can do a thinner layer over this section, maybe then I can let a little bit of blue show through, so that it looks like, so it looks just like it is, like it's coming up from below, rather than laying it on over top. Now, I don't know how well this will work. I don't know how opaque that is, even when it's very thin. Maybe it doesn't work. But I thought I'd give it a go. There could be a section, and of course around here it's going to be a little higher, thicker paint, obviously, because I've run out of paint. I only have a little bit of this left. It's not a color I'm going to use in painting minis very often. It's just not I don't tend to go for the brighter colors in my color schemes, so I'm not too worried about not having it. But it's just an idea I had. Thought maybe this will look kind of cool if the stuff has a certain amount of translucency if you get it really thin. So we'll see. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe this is pointless, but you know what? It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt having this under there. And maybe it'll look cool. So that's just the first step. Put a little color on. I'll let it dry, and I'll come back later and apply the caulk, the silicone. Alrighty then. This is now dry. It's actually been some days. I intended to get to it sooner, but I get to it when I get to it, I guess. All right. Okay, this is now dry, and we're all ready again with the caulk. This time in white, blanc, according to the French, in white of this Dynaflex caulking. And again, we're just going to spread it out, and then I'll squirt it out, and I'll spread it around with the putty knife. areas in snow because it drifts, right? It drifts and you'll have smoother spots. As I put the caulking on thicker, I think that the long nap is really stretching it out. I've got some more sand. This time I have white sand. You don't even see it happening. A wet cardboard tube, just to flatten things down a little bit. In addition to the sand, I'm going to put a little more sand on just in case any of it was taken off by that process. The other thing we're going to do is we are going to put down rocks. Now, not as many as I did on the last time, because these all have to be covered up with snow, right? Again, these rocks are going to get some snow covering because I want to be able to see a little bit of the rock underneath, so I'll just probably hit the tops. They're going to get a little bit of that treatment. And again, not all of them are going to stay on. Anytime you do this, you're going to get some that fall off. That's fine. It's better that they fall off, kind of during the creation process, while you're still making it, and then when you put it on the table and suddenly half your rocks go tumbling off. You don't want that. Okay. All right, so there it is, and once again, now the process is to wait and let it dry and see what sticks. Now I want to move this can because you can't see it if it's still. I'm hoping maybe you can see, as I can in real life, that as you move across, there's a glittering and a shine in parts of it. That glittering is that sand, and I want that to stay glittery, obviously. So when I go to paint, I'm not going to be doing a painting over the whole thing. I'm using white caulk, so that will be, appropriate for what it's supposed to look like. You can see a little bit of blue here and there coming through, so that's good. That's good. So, we'll let that dry at least overnight, probably a couple of days to really set, because there's some areas, especially over here, where it's quite thick. So we'll give it a little while to dry and see what we get. All right, we have ourselves a finished Snowscape. Well, not finished. No, not finished. I shouldn't say that, because I do want to paint the stones here that are still black. Here's the interesting bit. When you peel it up, first of all, there's a little bit of stick you get, and you might want to come along with a blade and trim that up. This has been just over a day drying. There's probably some bits where it might still be a bit damp, but I can handle it. I'd want to let it dry more before we use it, but we can handle it at least. And this is a good chance to see how much of it stuck, how much of the stones and whatnot stuck. Okay. So it looks like most of it did. Most of it's sticking. You do want to go over and, lightly. You don't have to be rough, but yeah, a few of them are loose now. Things that you'd rather came off before you got to the table than after. But that looks pretty good. In fact, I'm going to take this out of its stand here, take you on a brief tour, as it were. Again, there's a sparkling quality because of the sand worked in there that really works for the snow. And there's the bit here that's a bit more smooth. One thing I don't like is that the ridge lines have very much shown up, so I'm gonna have to paint over that with the white paint just to try to get that rippling out of there. But I like how the blue comes through in a few little places. You know, there's a few, well, this is a bit too much right here. That's a streak. But again, I'll paint over it with white. But that, overall, now once I get white on these stones, and I'm just going to put white on the top so that, you know, like on a snowy day, the snow's on the top of the stone, but you can still see the stone from underneath it, from around the side. Once I get those white on top, and I knock off a few more of them that are loose. There's probably more that will come off. Yeah, there's one right there. More that'll come off. And it does need to dry a bit more. There's still a bit coming off on my hand. So I give it another day or two even. I'm not in a rush. We just played recently, so yeah, you can really see the ripples from here. We just played recently, so that I'm not in any rush to get back to the table. We have some time. But there it is, the Snowscape battle mat. And the nice thing is, if you go to the dollar store and you get those Christmas Village trees, they're real cheapy things, and they're not expensive. They have a plastic base, and 9 times out of 10, the plastic base is white. So you can just plop that down, and it'll look like a snowdrift around a tree. I've seen some lately that the base, instead of a white blob, it's sort of it's made to look like a present. So it's, you know, shiny red or gold or green or something. Those obviously won't do. But if you have the white ones, first of all, you can paint that base brown or green or whatever to match, you know, a summer scene, and you can soak the snow flocking, the cheap snow flocking, off of them. But for my purposes, you know, I'm just going to leave the snow flocking on, white base. I'll probably put a weight on it so it doesn't tip over as easy. Boom, down they go. They'll fit right in. They'll fit right in. All right. Well, there you have it. Next step is the painting. All right, so we have it nice and dry, and I'm going to come along with a knife and see if I can slice off. This table's not worth saving, so I'm not worried about it. It's an old junky thing. Just the more egregious bits here. Now, need to do a little bit of touch up here. There's some bits that very clearly don't look like snowdrifts. They just look like problems with the paint. So just a little bit of white paint will cover that up, right? Just bits where it's a little too much. This blue's all good, okay? I'm going to run a little bit along here and just take care of that area where the black is kind of showing through. I don't need to get it all because, frankly, a little bit's okay. Now, the other thing I do want is I want to be able to get the tops of these little rocks. So it's going to... I'm not bothering to get the whole rock. I don't want the whole rock. I hope from your perspective you're able to see that I'm leaving, you know, I'm leaving some shadow visible there, because I want them to, you know, be able to see that there's a rock there, that it's a landscape feature, not just a lump in the paint kind of thing. Yeah, you can still see a lot of the rocks underneath, just like you would on a snowy field. You might see a little bit of the rock underneath the snow cap. Well, the next thing to do is to try it out with the trees on it. And we'll let this dry first, obviously, and then try it out with the trees on it. So here it is, the finished product. with the trees arranged on it as well. This is what I was talking about. These trees, they're from the dollar store. They're like $2-3 for a pack of two of the larger ones. I got the three small ones. I think the pack was 325, 350, something like that. But they have these white bases. Here you go. They have the white plastic base on it that you stick it on here and it looks like a drift of snow around the base of the tree. It looks really quite good. It blends in, no extra work needed at all. You could, if you wanted to, add some texture or something to it. I don't know. Probably not necessary though. Not necessary. If you have a Mini that has some snow on the base, right, looks great on this terrain. Looks great on this terrain. So there it is. I mean, it's as simple as it could be because, snow is just white. I made it harder than I needed to by putting the blue underneath and trying to get the thin thing. I never did paint over all of this, so the ribs are the the rib lines from the texture. The bottom of the mat has, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, the bottom of the mat has texture on it, has for grip, right? But you turn that upside down, but it still shows through a little on the other side. It's there. You know what? It's not bad enough to worry about. If I was going to do this, if I was doing it, someone was buying one from me, or if I was going to, I don't know, take it to the game store or something, I would probably not do that really thin area. But it looks fine. It looks fine. For laying down on your table at home, it looks great. And the rocks look fabulous. I will take some close-up shots. The rocks look really good. You can really see the rock underneath. It looks like snow has fallen on top of it, because you don't paint the whole rock. You make sure there's some dark still a bit visible. So it looks great. It really looks great. I'm really pleased with it. Now, all I have to do is lay this on the table and bring in the dragon.